33 of the Circle Back podcast, the show where two great friends get together and just talk about video games. I'm Dan LaMarca. As always, I'm joined by Dan. Vive la France, Dufrenoy.
Bonjour, mon ami.
And Dan, we're not going to kick it off like we always do. I want to hear about France. How was it?
Oh, France was great. France was actually really, really beautiful.
What was the most
Thank
French
you.
thing you did in France? That's what I want to know.
Most French thing. Well, obviously Paris was like very, very French, but what was really cool is we went into the countryside. And,
Okay.
like that's where we had, our 5-course, lunches and
Five-course lunches?
5-course lunches. Yeah, I met my dad's uncle, right? And legit, we had lunch. Legit, there was probably like 7. There was like 7 courses.
7
There
courses?
was like 7 courses.
For a lunch.
And one of the courses was nothing but cheese.
Nice.
And I kid you not, there was 5 platters of cheese with about 10 cheeses on each platter. There's about 50 different cheeses there. And it was runny and stinky, and I felt very French there. There was no air conditioning.
That's what I heard about
It might
France.
sound like
They
a
never
bad
have any air
thing, but
conditioning.
I felt very much immersed in the culture.
Okay.
Like, and everything was very fresh.
Nice.
The people were lovely.
Was it a stinky place in general?
No, it wasn't just,
Just
the
the
cheese.
cheese?
Just the cheese. Yeah, the
That's
cheese
good.
was stinky. But yeah, it was awesome. It was really cool.
Cool.
And got to meet my family over there. And
Nice, nice.
That was that. So France was
Cool.
great, man.
Yeah, so
thank you for
Dan,
asking.
Dan was in France for a week, so we're a week behind on episodes. You guys didn't miss anything, but I have been playing games for like the past 2 weeks, so I had plenty to talk
And I've
about.
been
Dan
in
was on
France.
vacation, so he didn't get to play that much.
I was working on Je parle français.
Yay, not bad.
Oui, oui.
So now we're gonna get into what we've been
We're
playing.
gonna do the entire episode all in French, though.
Yeah, that,
No subtitles.
I just have a feeling that won't go over too well.
No.
No,
Why not?
but teach his
I
own.
tried to get my uncle, who speaks no English, tried to explain to him that I do a podcast and a YouTube. And,
How'd that go?
Well, he didn't know what YouTube was, and he also didn't know what I was saying because I was speaking in English,
Right.
and it was just so. He's not a subscriber.
No,
No. So
lost another one.
I know.
So quickly, I will say I finished Yoku's Island Express.
Okay.
I know I was very close when we
Thoughts?
talked last time. I absolutely love that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a special game. The story and the tone hold throughout the entire game in a way that is really fun and interesting. I think the abilities that you get compared to most Metroidvanias are a little lacking.
Okay.
So like I could see some Metroidvania fans being like, you don't really, do that much differently or whatever, but you're really there for the music, the story, the characters, like, the fun little stuff like that. So I just think it's a really,
So
really
in all,
special game.
like your expectations and your enjoyment of it never like dipped. It always
Right, yeah. Throughout the entire game, it was very good.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was playing it in kind of fits and starts after the first week I had it, and then finally I got back to it and finished it. I remember last time I was like, I gotta be close, and then I played for like a half hour. I was done. So, loved Yoku's Island Express. Definitely highly recommend it. I think it's on everything. I think it's on Xbox, PC,
Cool.
PS4, and Switch. I played it on Switch. Really good Switch game because just jump in for a half hour, play a little bit, and like, all right, I made some progress, and then jump out. So,
Awesome.
yeah, really, really love that game. But there's one game in particular, and it's not going to be what you expect. Because, Dan, we fucked up last year bad. Hollow Knight is one of the best games I've ever played in my life. It is an amazing, amazing
I've never
game.
even heard of this game.
This game came out last year. I heard a lot of people talking highly of it. It's like very highly reviewed, like,
What is it?
a lot of 10s, a lot of 9s out of 10s.
What's it about? What platform?
I'll explain it, everything
you get
to you.
into it, man.
But I remember, so
Messed up.
remember,
last year.
I got
thought we
this
killed
laptop.
somebody or something.
I got this laptop this year,
Okay.
earlier, I believe, or around Christmas last year maybe. But I hadn't had a PC to play games on until I got this laptop. So
Okay.
Hollow Knight came out to just PC initially last year, I think sometime in the spring or something like that, maybe summer. Hollow Knight came out, and it was highly reviewed, and a lot of people didn't play it. Like, people loved it. The people that like it really, really love it. But I never played it. I was like, I should get around to that, whatever. It came out on Switch.
Okay.
Just a couple weeks ago. It came out on Switch. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to finally give this a try. Because now the reviews for Switch are coming out. And I'm reminded that this is a very well-loved game. It's got like a 90 on Metacritic. Like, people love this game. So I'm like, all right, let me try it. and I fell in love with it so hard. This game is
never heard of this game.
amazing, Dan. So it's a 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania,
Nice. Okay.
which I know you already like the premise.
I'm already in.
But it has a lot of Dark Souls DNA without straight aping Dark Souls. Like a lot of games are like very reliant on Dark Souls. This is, it has the corpse run mechanic. You die, you basically, your spirit comes out, you go back to a bench, which is like your bonfire. You go back to the last bench you sat at, and then you go find your body, you kill your own spirit. It's like, you know, like your evil spirit comes out and it's holding all your geo, which is like your currency, right? So that, in that way, very much like Dark Souls, obviously. You know, other games do that now. It's kind of becoming more of like a, you know, you don't even call it a Dark Souls thing anymore because a lot of games do that. But this is one of those. And the thing that it does that is like Dark Souls that I fucking love about this game is the story and the characters and the NPCs and stuff. Because there's just so much mystery to this world in the same way of like a Dark Souls Bloodborne type of thing where like sometimes you'll see an NPC and it's not immediately clear what to do with them. Like they talk to you and it's like, is this guy just here to talk to me? And then you might find them somewhere else in the world and they'll be like, oh, you found me on my journey. You know, like it's like recurring characters throughout. In a really, really cool way. And let me take it top level because I think, you know, when we talk about games sometimes, and I always say that there are very few games that nail everything that they're doing, right?
Okay.
And this, from the presentation and graphics, like beautiful hand-drawn animation, like really, really good-looking game. Music, incredible, like so many different moments with different styles of music and stuff. Like I could just listen to the soundtrack and it's like awesome. Story's incredible throughout. Love the characters. Like even little examples like your fast travel system. So the whole game is based on like everybody in the world is a bug, like a type of bug.
Okay.
So it's like you're this little bug creature with like a skull on his head and you're the Hollow Knight. And then you'll fight like these mosquito type things. You'll fight these spider type things, like all these different things. You have your fast travel system is this thing called like the Old Stag or the Great Stag or something. And it's this big beetle with big legs. And you talk to it. Also, this game does a really, you know how like rare games or Animal Crossing, like it's kind of like personified speaking, like you'll read the text, but it'll be like, yeah. So this does that, but in a really actually good way, because sometimes that can be annoying. But this is like the Great Stag, which like, ugh. And then it'll like you'll read like what he said, you know, like it's like, but it gives so much character to the world. Like I know it's silly, but
I like when you do it. That's good.
It really gives so much character to this world, and this stag like will run you from station to station. Then it gives this little cutscene of you like riding the stag, and it's like running sideways and stuff. It's
this
so
sounds
cool.
awesome.
This game, so the minute-to-minute gameplay is, you know, it's platforming like any Metroidvania. It's not very platforming heavy. You basically have a short-range sword attack.
Okay.
And it's all about timing and figuring out the enemy's patterns in a Dark Souls-like way. So you'll come across an enemy for the first time, and you'll be like, holy shit, this is a boss. And then you realize, no, it's just a regular enemy. It's just the first time you're coming across them. So they're like putting you in an arena with it to learn it. Because then you'll start coming across them along your way, and you're like, what the? I have to fight this boss again? You know, like, This is so hard. And then you figure out their patterns, and you figure out the best way to fight them, and then they become trivial. You know, it's like, it is that loop, that Dark Souls loop that is the reason people really enjoy those games. So, like I was saying, how the mystery is similar, like that's where it kind of draws inspiration from Dark Souls. There are like side quests and stuff, and there's no quest log in a very Dark Souls type way where it's like you'll find somebody and she'll be like, please, you know, she'll give this whole speech, very well written dialogue, like, you know, my beloved has died. All I wanted to do was give him this flower, like whatever. And then you need to take this flower and take it to the guy's grave without getting hit by any enemies because the flower is very fragile and it'll break. It also has things like...
Oh no, what if you get hit and the flower breaks?
That's it.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about where there'll be this guy, you'll see this guy like trapped by an enemy, and it's like you can go kill the enemy and chop him down and free him, and then he might be like, okay, thanks for helping me.
Or he might kill you.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like if you let him stay there and you beat the boss of that area, he would be gone forever.
Right.
Instead, you freed him, and you'll see him along the way. You need to free him again. It's like an ongoing quest.
Oh, I don't know if it's one of those things where you can free him and then he like kills you and takes your money.
No, not. It's not quite as devious as that in a lot of ways, but yeah, it's just. I'm not doing an excellent job of describing it.
I think
but
you are.
I think that this game is extremely special, and I can't believe I didn't play it last year.
So like, all right. So how far are you into this game? Would you say?
Oh, I beat it. Yeah.
Oh, you already beat it?
Yeah, 25 hours.
No way.
Yeah.
What? So where does it fall on your list of last year then? Like.
No, I mean I'm not. I did just beat it, so I'm not going to definitely change my list or do anything like that. This is of the games I loved last year. Like this is like Breath of the Wild, Nier Automata, the Hollow Knight are close behind. Like
wow, that much.
It's a masterpiece. I'm not even kidding. It's an amazing game. This is not hyperbole. I mean, it probably is because I'm in love with this game and not everybody will be. But for me, it did absolutely everything perfectly. The combat design is incredible. Something I didn't even talk about that's such an important part of this game is you have a charm system, right? So as you go along, remember I said it's just a short sword attack. You can go left, right. You can jump and attack down, you can jump and attack up, like you have that. Then you get these spells where so you have this pool, see this is why I did such a bad, you have this pool every time you attack an enemy, you have like this little globe that fills up with like white fluid in the top left. It's like an indicator of some sort of thing. So you have this globe of fluid and it fills up as you attack enemies, and if you get hurt, you can hold down the A button and it'll drain some of the fluid and heal 1 pip of your health.
Okay.
So you start out with 5 HP or whatever, 5 hits. So it's like some enemies might do 2 HP worth of damage, some might do 1. But anytime you get hit, if you find a safe spot, hold A, he'll like charge up and then heal. And that takes some of the fluid. The fluid can also go to, it's called soul, that stuff. That soul can also be used for spells.
Okay. So
it's like you have a spell that like shoots out a projectile across the screen and it does like 2 or 3 sword hits worth of damage. So you're kind of doing a balancing act of, all right, am I going to use my soul and try not to get hit so I don't need to heal myself, or am I going to save it for after the fight and then heal up? So that's a huge part of the game. But another thing that I was going to mention is the charm system, which really sets this game apart for me from a lot of Metroidvanias, because it allows you to cater your playstyle in so many different ways as you get different charms, because it's basically like a modifier system. So you have a certain number of charm notches, and each charm that you get takes up either 1 slot, 2 slot, 3, or 4 if it's a really big charm. But they could be anything from gives you longer attack range. Okay. Takes up 2 slots. Gives you two extra HP, but they're not healable HP. So it'll be like, you'll have your 5 white pips of health and then 2 blue ones. Mm-hmm. And if you lose one of the blue ones, you can't heal and get it back. Okay. So it's just like an extra bonus shield, because every time you sit on a bench, you heal fully and you save. So another example would be you have basically little minions that run around with you. I have these little spiderlings that I have 3 of them. They follow me around everywhere, and if there's an enemy in the area, they jump and attack them. So they do like 1/10 of my sword damage, but if it's really tough, like armored enemy, and I can't really get around him too easily, I can just make sure I dodge his attacks and let the spiders do the work, kind of thing, there's this ability called the Dream Shield, which is this floating, it looks like an umbrella made of a flower, and it just floats around you in a circle consistently. And if a projectile or an attack hits it, it'll block it.
Oh, cool.
So you can't control where it is.
Yeah.
It just slowly floats around you. But it'll block attacks if they hit it. Or if you let it touch an enemy, it'll hurt them.
Okay.
So it's a totally, like, it allows you to totally change your playstyle. Like, at one point, I had, like, an army of minions. I'd put all my charms into all these different... I had the Dream Shield, the Spiderlings... I had this, like, it's called, like, a heroic odor or something, and it's like the smoke, it was like this, you know, fart cloud that follows you around, but it does damage if enemies get too close, you know? So I'm doing, like damage over time build rather than, like, a true sword.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so cool in that way. Really differentiating itself as not just every other Metroidvania, you know? Huge part of the game that I really love that actually reminds me of Breath of the Wild. It gives you that same feeling of exploration of Breath of the Wild, is that in every area, so it's made up of, like, discrete areas that are named. So it'll be like the first area when you go down the well to explore the whole Underhollow, it's called, is Forgotten Crossroads, right? Okay. So it's this place called Forgotten Crossroads. It has a theme. It has enemies that are specific to that area.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then you basically poke at the edges until you can, like, all of a sudden you'll go through a door and you'll be in a different area. And it'll be like the Green Hollow or Green Road or something. And then you're in this foresty area and all new enemies and, like, stuff like that. But what happens along the way is you find this guy who's the map maker. And you see him, like, really cool touch that they do is you'll hear him, like, humming. And you'll, like, be able to be like, oh, I think he's in the next room. Okay. No. Oh. You'll be like, I think he's in the next, you're trying to find him.
Oh, okay.
So you're exploring all these areas. You don't have a map. It'll say, like, no map found for this area yet. And you'll hear him humming. You're like, oh, I got to find him, because if you find him and you pay him in the currency, the Geo, he gives you a map for the area. And now the map for the area is just what he has seen. So, like, you're thinking this guy's like a big mosquito-like guy with a long nose and stuff, and he's sitting there like, oh, you want my map? I've been exploring this place. And now when you sit at your bench, you can look at the map at any time, but it opens up in real time, so you can get hit while you're looking at it.
Okay.
But you literally see the Hollow Knight, like, go like this. It's so cool. But so you're looking at the map and you only see what he has explored. So you won't see certain hidden areas. You won't even see, like, half the map sometimes, because it's like, hey, you see the route this guy took.
This is every area.
Okay. So you get the map from him, and then it's your job to fill out the rest of the map.
Okay.
So what you do is when you explore rooms that aren't on your map, the next time you sit at the bench, it'll say map updated, and you'll open your map, and you see Hollow Knight actually drew the rest of the map.
Oh, nice.
And it's just such a cool idea, because it's making you be, like, the explorer. You know what I mean? Like, in the same way that I love Breath of the Wild, because it was like, you're plotting out all these points. Mm-hmm. You're seeing things and finding them and going to them. You know what I mean?
The ball's in your court.
A lot of people use the word exploration in video games a lot, but it is exploration, because you are figuring out what this place is all about. So each area, it's not 100% consistent in this way, but for the most part, each area has one main boss and one, like, optional side boss. Mm-hmm. Really cool thing that I enjoy a lot is just going through and trying to find all the side bosses and, you know, all the optional bosses and take them out and stuff, because, again, the gameplay in this is just superb, absolutely superb.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I really can't say enough good things about this game. I absolutely love it. It quickly, immediately became, like, one of my. I absolutely love this game. It's really.
Favorite games of all time?
You can't say that yet. So.
You can say anything you want.
What I would say is it's on Switch now.
Okay.
I recommend everybody play it. It's an amazing game. It is due to release on Xbox and PS4 at some point.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to wait for that. I think it's perfect for the Switch, because on your commute, on your wherever, if you're taking a flight, it's like it's definitely good in short bursts or in long bursts. You know what I mean? It's like you can go, all right, I'm going to explore this area. All right, I'm going to go until I find a bench. Found a bench, sit at it, save, done. But the boss design, like everything is just so good in this game. I'm telling you, this is like an incredible game. I can't believe we missed it last year. But anyway, that's my long rant about Hollow Knight.
That's so good to hear, dude.
Yeah, I love it, man. I really love it. It took me, and like I said, it's a $15 game.
Not bad.
$15, and to beat the main story,
25.
it took me 25 hours.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's an amazing game.
That's awesome, man.
Yes. Again, cannot recommend it enough.
Great, dude.
So, other than that, games from this year, let's talk about. I know you've been playing a game that I really enjoyed earlier in the year, Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom.
Mm-hmm. Finally got to it.
Finally got around to it.
My sister graduated.
I know you're a huge fan of the original Ni no Kuni.
Love the original Ni no Kuni, but like, so that's Ni no Kuni and any JRPG or like games that me and my sister both really enjoy. So like that's something that we have we play together. Early Zelda 2 that we play together. So like if we don't have a game come out like March. But my sister was in high school, and I was working, and like we just never had time to play it. But she just graduated high school, yay! And so we had time to play it, and we're not that far, maybe about 3-4 hours in. But oh my gosh, I love Ni no Kuni too.
You like it?
It's way early to say. Yeah. There's something about it. I feel like it's smoother.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, there's a lot of things about it I enjoy even more than the original. The original is one of my favorite games ever. So.
Yeah, I will say, because I remember talking about it back when it first came out, and before it came out, I was a little worried because I really liked the familiar system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you now have Higgledies.
Higgledies, yeah.
So between the Higgledies, your party members, the combat's actually really good.
I like this combat better than the combat.
And I never thought I would say that because I really liked the familiar system. I liked being like, oh, let me take my new guy out there. You know, like it was so cool, but it's really
so good. It's smooth. And I don't know. I just there's something about it.
Very cool.
I compare the stories. They're kind of I don't know if I like one over the other yet so far, but I'm really enjoying it, man.
Cool, very cool.
Yeah,
well, we'll talk about that a little bit
in
in our main segment for the episode. Yeah. But I know you've also been playing a newer game that
just came out. The people from Dontnod. Yeah. Is it Dontnod or Don't Nod?
Don't Nod.
Don't Nod. Well, it's French, so I was trying to
Don't Nod. No, I don't know. I think it's Don't Nod.
Anyway, they're coming out with Life is Strange 2, so they gave a free demo game that's supposed to be in the same events as the original Life is Strange.
Yeah, it's part of the same universe. It supposedly is supposed to have a few characters that are like in Life is Strange 2, so it's a little intro into their little world.
Mm-hmm. And it's called The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. Super short game, hour, 2 hours, really depending on how much you want to do in the game. There's certain plot points that you can trigger at any point to get to the end of the game, but then there's a lot of like little mini side quests in it. And again, it really, really good. I never played Life is Strange. I know you've been telling me that's one that I have to check out, but
seems like a pretty good like you enjoy the story in it. And...
Yeah, you play as this little kid. And he's lonely. His mom died, and his dad, has a bit issues of his own and kind of neglectful. And the kid's just trying to, occupy his time and keep himself interested in it and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's just kind of like how he goes about his day, and he pretends that he's a superhero. And I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it's just really, really cool. It's really, really sweet. Cool. A lot of like touching moments, a lot of heartfelt moments.
For a free hour-long episode, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, not bad at all.
I think I'm gonna. I've been meaning to get to it. I've just been occupied with Hollow Knight.
Yeah. They do a really good job of it's very relatable. Just we've all had that where you're a kid and you're just playing by yourself and you're just trying to. And it's very nice, very
very cool. I definitely want to check that out.
Moments.
Yeah.
So
cool. Last thing for what we've been playing
in your opinion
is so Square Enix and Nintendo are partnering for Octopath Traveler. They put out a demo. Actually, at E3 they released it. It's basically it is the start of a new game, and you have a 3-hour timer on your game clock.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You play for 3 hours. You can do it however you want. They gate certain areas. Obviously, they don't want you to get too far into the story if you're like finding exploits or anything. But they say, hey, here, have the first 3 hours of this game however you want, and you are able to carry it over into your
That's awesome.
full game. So if you buy the full game, it comes out, I think, July 13th.
13th, yeah. Which
would have been just this last Friday for you guys out there. But if you play the demo, your progress carries right into the game when you start,
That's
which
cool.
I think is
like
a really,
that. Yeah.
really cool thing. So let me talk about the game a little bit. It is a much more traditional JRPG, turn-based.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of feels Persona-y in the combat because the enemies have weaknesses in a similar way to Persona.
Oh, okay. So
if you find their weakness, they go down and they miss a turn.
Okay.
And then while they're down, you do double damage to them. So the whole idea is find what they're weak to, attack that, and then go.
Right.
A cool thing that it does that I haven't seen before, and probably has been in other JRPGs, and I just don't know it, is so every turn you build, I forget what they call it, but you start out with just being able to attack once. And if you only attack once on that turn, the next turn you have 2 attack charges pretty much. If you only attack once on that turn, you now have 3 attack charges. Like you build it up, and then you can do like an attack times 3.
Cool.
And he'll do like 3 slashes, and then it'll do triple damage, obviously. So you want to expose their weakness and then attack with the multiple attack. So that's basically the thing that differentiates it from most other JRPGs. Otherwise, it's magic abilities. You have ice attack. This guy has fire attack. You have a healing spell. You have healing items. But what I will say, the shtick of the game itself is Octopath. There are 8 characters.
Right, you can choose
8
from, right?
playable characters.
Okay.
And it starts out with you looking at like an overworld map, and you see each of the 8 characters.
My stomach grumbling.
I didn't hear it. Wonderful.
Sorry about that.
You see each of the 8 characters on the world map, and you can kind of cycle between them, and it'll give you a little brief synopsis like, all right, this person's the hunter, they have this ability, and you obviously don't know what the ability means yet. It just tells you the name. This person is an alchemist. This is their ability.
I would say this person's an alcoholic.
This person likes to get drunk. But there's a bunch of different classes, like a warrior, dancer, like a lot of different, things you'd expect. And you choose any of them.
Okay.
And what happens is when you choose a character, each character has like a prologue, pretty much. So when you choose a character, you play through their prologue. I think they vary in lengths, but I chose the alchemist first, and his prologue was about an hour.
Okay.
So I completed his prologue, and then it said, go out and explore. And you see on the map there are different directions you can take, and each of those 8 characters are on the map. So like, if you're like, all right, I want to go check out this person,
so like,
let me go that way. And so as the alchemist, you're traveling to that person's town. And then what happens is when you meet the other person...
So all the characters can meet each other. Okay.
So I don't know exactly how it works. Again, it's only the first 3 hours. But I met the thief. And right when you meet the person, they have like the little meeting, like dialogue or whatever. And then it jumps into that new character's prologue. And you play it.
Okay.
So I'm curious how it's going to work out in the full game, because they kind of pitched it as like 8 individual stories.
Okay.
And from what it seems like to me is I played as the alchemist, played the prologue, went to the thief, played the thief prologue. Now they joined forces.
Okay.
And now the 2 of us are roaming around and doing other stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like...
The recruiting party
members. Are you just recruiting everyone as your party member, and then that's the end of the game? Which would be fine. but they really made it feel like you have 8 different paths to choose from, and it's like, but I'm playing everyone's path,
Right?
You know, what I'm wondering is the person that you choose first, is that going to be like your character, their story, and then everyone else is just your party member?
Oh, if there's all like different permutations, like if you started with someone else and then.
But then it might flip, and if you start with somebody else, because what I've heard is, just from small bits of dialogue, we haven't had reviews out on this game yet or much discussion because of embargoes, but what I've heard is it fast forwards things that you've already seen if you play through again as somebody else. So if you start the game over as a different character,
Okay.
I think there are some of the same scenes, but I think there are different things that happen.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm presuming based on what I've heard.
Okay.
I think it's a really fun JRPG. I think graphically it's one of the coolest games I've ever seen. It is like so interesting, the way it's like a diorama almost. It's really
The art
neat.
style looks great. How it's like it's very much 16-bit sprites, but yet there's like the depth perception.
The
like,
depth
like,
perception
like,
and the way everything is like super deformed, even like the buildings and the trees and stuff. It's really neat. I love the way this game looks, but I'm curious about the story stuff, because a lot of the stuff that I got to is a little cheesy JRPG stuff. Nothing wrong with that. It can still be a great game. It's like Fire Emblem. It's the same way a lot of times, where it's like the gameplay's great, so I don't care that it's a little cheesy. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed the demo. I was impressed with it, and I'm excited to play the full game.
Yeah. Full game would have come out already.
Yeah, so. Comes out this Friday for us, this past Friday for you guys, but
that's exciting though. I mean, do you have like high hopes?
I do have high hopes. I have a really good feeling about it, and I think it's just such an interesting idea for a game to have all these different, 8 paths, 8 characters, like whatever. I again, like I said, I'm very excited to see how that all works out. But it's cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I really like it.
Excited for it to come out. And it's a game that we've been talking about for a very long time, so we'll see what the whole.
I am very excited.
Cool, man. So the demo at least got you more excited to be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to purchase
this.
Yes. Cool.
I was already very interested based on what I saw, but now I'm like, yeah, I'm going to buy it.
Cool.
Yeah. It was good. It was really good from what I played. It's, got a really nice combat system with, as you level up, you get to actually choose what levels up. That's a bad way to explain it. Each time you win a battle, you get these points, and once you get a certain amount, it's like, all right, which skill do you want to unlock? And it gives you like a list of 8 skills.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's really cool.
That's awesome.
So pick your one skill, and then, hey, next time you level up, you get this amount of points, it doubles. It doubles the amount of points. So it's like, choose wisely, that kind of thing.
That's cool.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's very cool.
Awesome.
So,
wait, before you finish, I just remembered one more game that I played. I finally succumbed to the Fortnite craze.
Really? Holy shit.
Just a little bit. But I'm not good at it.
Okay.
I think the best I got.
What do you think of it, though?
It's fun. I think it's like, I think what makes it like super unique is like, I like you can like customize your character and like get all this like stuff.
And, and all the art's really good. It's very
art's
colorful.
Really good, colorful. Yeah. Really fun. I like the King of the Hill thing. You dropped on a map and you gotta be the last one. Yeah. Like I like that. Best I ever got. I got 19th.
Nice. That's not bad.
I guess so.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
How are you feeling with the building?
Not good.
Not good.
I'm not good at it.
You're playing on
what?
No,
it's cool.
What are you playing on?
I'm
PS4?
Switch.
Switch,
yeah. I'm just not good at it. And then there's someone, the moment where I forget where it was. I think it was when I was like 19th place. I was like, sweet. I'm gonna be cheap, and I'm just gonna like hide here for like a little bit. So I stood on top of a house. Saw some guy way in the distance. And I was like, he's never gonna get me. I'm all the way up here. No, he like in like 2 seconds, boom, platform, jumps in the air and shoots me, and I'm dead. And I'm just like, So.
Cool.
I forget, Fortnite came out last year or this year?
Fortnite, I mean, it's in flux, but it started last year. Fortnite Battle Royale was like July or August.
I don't know if it was considered a 2018 game.
No, it's not.
No. Okay. Well, anyway, that was it. I just wanted to throw that out there just because.
Very cool.
I had to say it.
All right. So that's what we've been playing. We're going to jump into the main segment of the day here. We're a little more than halfway through the year, so we just wanted to...
It's July, baby.
we had the idea of let's talk about all of our favorite games of this year so far. So we're going to basically say these are our top 10 contenders so far. So what could possibly be on it?
So we're all the rest of the games of the year suck.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what.
This is all that matters.
It's the only game that matters.
What I will say is we're basically just going to go through and say what we loved about these games.
Okay.
Kind of a little refresher of here's the games that we love, why did we love them, and then at the end we'll say which ones you think are really going to be
at the end of
contenders.
The year.
Yeah, because I think this is just a list of all the games that we really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
So started off the year strong with Celeste.
Yes.
I really, really love this game. Tough as nails platformer.
Oh, great though.
With just such a great story.
Art style story. Celeste might be one of my favorite games of all time.
It's I really,
wow,
really? You
like that?
Damn.
For real. Celeste might be out of all these.
Do you think that could be your game of the year so far?
Celeste could be my game of the year so far, which is crazy.
Shit.
I know. I know.
Hey, Celeste is a fantastic game. I think it is definitely going to be a strong contender at the end of the year. But yeah, for me, this game just is such a special story, such a interesting thing that it tackles anxiety and like depression and stuff like that. It does it in such an interesting way.
Yeah,
I absolutely love this game and the way it does that. But you're 100% right.
It does it beautifully.
Everything about it.
Yeah,
you know, like it's such good music. Story.
Still made me cry a few times. Like by the end, where you're just like getting like it's super emotional.
It is.
And I haven't played a platformer that tight and that well in a very, very long time. Maybe since Super Meat Boy.
Yeah.
Maybe it might have
definitely
been
had some Super Meat Boy vibes.
But like I can't think of another platformer. I love platformers. You know, like that's my bread and butter. So like I haven't. It's been a while since I played a game that like tight as well. So you know. I really, really enjoy it.
One that's a pure platformer. Right?
Pure platformer, and it's tough, but it's so rewarding when you get to the...
Yeah. No, it certainly is. I absolutely love Celeste.
Celeste already, I can say, one of the... Definitely, at the end of the year, I know for a fact I will be talking about this game as a top 10.
Good.
Unless there's 9 more games.
You heard it first. That's the Brothers Tale of Two Sons of this year, for everyone out there.
Huh?
It's a long story. Next, Dragon Ball FighterZ. I fell hard into this game because I love Dragon Ball and the graphical style of this game. The fact that it looks like an episode of Dragon Ball when you're playing, and the way, the amount of love and care put into this fighting game. Mm-hmm. You know, this is just a 2D fighter, like a regular ass fighting game, and it really took me by surprise that I loved it as much as I did.
It's awesome, yeah. I know you're crazy about fighters.
Yeah, I'm not a big fighting game guy. I'm just not very good at fighting games usually, that's why. And I got pretty good at this. I actually, held my own online and stuff. This game, I mean, it's kind of a perfect storm of, hey, it's going to get all the fighting game people because it's a really good fighting game, and it's going to get all the Dragon Ball fans. It's like...
And there's 5 billion of them.
But you know what I mean? It allows it to be a more level playing field than most fighting games, because most fighting games are for fighting game fans. And this one is as well, but it brought in people because of what it is.
Right, yeah.
Like, you're not going to be like...
Who doesn't love Dragon Ball?
Oh, let me get really good at Street Fighter 4. You know what I mean? Like, just randomly. It's like, no, you're going to get dominated and you're never going to be able to learn how to play. It's like, this game at least had other people that were like, I want to get into this game. And I just think everything about the fighting mechanics and the graphics and the little moves they put into the characters that are like little jokes about, from the anime and stuff. It's just really cool to see so much like love and care put into
That's
something
awesome,
like that,
man.
So really, really enjoy that game. Next one might be my game of the year so far.
I know you love this game so much.
What I will say, and we'll talk more about this after we do all these games, what I will say is this is going to be an interesting game of the year because there's a lot of games on here that I adore that you haven't played, and it's going to be interesting. But Into the Breach is the game we're talking about.
I know, you love that game.
Just such an impeccable game. Like, honestly, an absolutely impeccable game. I think, again, we talk about everything that it's going for. It's a strategy game. people say strategy, and it means a lot of different things. It's a tactics game, grid-based tactics game that almost feels like chess because you're moving your units around, and it's very much about mobility and positioning over pure firepower. We're going to talk about BattleTech in a little bit, but the dichotomy between those two is so interesting because I love them both so much. But BattleTech, yes, it's very tactical, but it's like if you can kind of overpower something if you want to. You can be like, all right, I'm sending all 4 of my mechs. We're all going to alpha strike this one mech, and it's going to bust up. It's like Into the Breach is like, you just got to survive, man. Like, get your guys out of the way of the attacks. Like, it's just such a genius, like, perfectly made game that, it's easily one of my favorites. For sure.
Honestly, out of all the games this year that you've loved that I haven't played, that's actually the one I'm most interested in just because of the way you talk about it. And that, you make me want to buy it.
But what I will say about it is it's certainly not for everybody, but there are things to love about it, even if you're not a tactics game guy. And I think it's a really good jumping on point for a tactics game. I think it teaches you good habits about how to play, and it teaches you through failure over and over again because it is so snappy. If you want to jump in and play and you lose on your second or third mission, that's only 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, it's snappy. It's not a huge investment. Like, I know you've been playing XCOM 2 and enjoying it, but it's like, if you're playing on Iron Man mode and your team wipes 10 hours in,
right.
Like you're like, well, what the hell do I do now?
Yeah.
So I think I really just would love if people would just give Into the Breach a try, even if it's not your type of game, because play it for a few hours, and if you can't get into it, you don't enjoy it, you don't enjoy it. I like it because I enjoy that style of game, number one, but I love the writing around it. The graphical style of it's amazing. Music's incredible. Like this is one of those total package games that I was talking about with Hollow Knight, where it's like, I just can't think of a single thing I would want it to do differently. That's the thing,
That's beautiful. All right, Dan. You know what? Maybe I'll give it a try.
Yeah. Well, at least by the end of the year, maybe.
Maybe.
Next game I have on the list here is A Way Out.
Okay.
So A Way Out I put on this list because I have a huge fondness for it. I don't think it's one of the best games I played this year, but I would say it's one of my favorites. So I think that carries a lot of weight with it. A Way Out, again, if you don't know, it's the third person, like very story-based, linear,
two players.
2 guys. Yeah, you play as 2 players.
Simultaneously.
Yeah. Simultaneously playing on a split screen. Really interesting game, does a lot of really cool mechanical stuff. That I haven't seen in a lot of games. And I do have a fondness for the ambition of this game, even if some of it's really bad.
Yeah.
So it's a game that I could see in a year that had less amazing games already. I could see this like being in the mix and being like, I really love that game. I want that on here. But I'm looking through here already. And I'm like, I feel like
it might fall off, but I do think that it gets the award for originality and
absolutely,
and the award for just technical, something different. I think it did something that I've never seen in a game before.
That's for sure. Yeah.
So I think it definitely gets the
I just had a lot of fun playing it. I had a lot of fun playing it.
I had fun playing it too.
Laughing at it sometimes.
Yeah.
Enjoying it other times. Like it's a really interesting game that I have very complicated feelings about. But I did come out mostly positive on it, so I wanted to at least talk about it here. Then we have the game we talked about earlier,
yes, Ni no Kuni 2,
Revenant Kingdom. So. Myself and Shelby have played very deeply into this game. I did not finish it. I believe Shelby did, but I am like 30 or 40 hours into it, getting there. But
crazy like a JRPG.
I put it
40
down.
Hours and you're like, I got another 40 hours
exactly.
before.
So, yeah, I think you can get through the end of it in like 45, 50, something like that. But
I think the original Ni no Kuni took me like 50.
Yeah. But, it also depends on what you're going to do on the in-between. If you just mainline story, then it's probably quicker. But I very, very much enjoy that game. I think it holds its own story-wise throughout. It has enough twists and turns and interesting things that it kept me engaged. And the things that you build upon, getting new party members, getting new higgledies, you know, it stays fresh throughout. I never really was bored with it. I only put it down because God of War came out. So I definitely enjoyed my time with this game. I think it can definitely, no doubt, be a top 10 contender. So, yeah, big fan of Ni no Kuni 2.
Awesome.
Big one, obviously, God of War.
Yes, of course.
That's the big one of the year until Red Dead comes out. Those are
the 2 games that
those are the 2. Yeah. So incredible game. I think we can both say.
We've talked about God of War. I think
we've talked a lot about God of War.
Yeah.
But I will say definitely still way up there for me. You know, any bad feelings I have aside, it's an excellent game. It's very, very well made. I would be very surprised if it wasn't on the top 10.
Yeah,
is what
I think it will be.
Next we have Minute.
Oh, Minute, yeah.
One of my personal favorites.
Same, definitely.
I just adore this game.
It's so good.
One of the coolest, one of the most interesting games I've played in a long time. It looks like a original Game Boy game.
Black and white.
From the second you spawn at your house, you have 60 seconds to do whatever you want to do. So you're kind of exploring the world, figuring out what you can do.
60 seconds up.
In 60 seconds. Once that timer hits, respawn at the house.
Yeah.
One of the coolest idea for games I've ever played.
I love it.
And just such a rewarding game in so many ways. Like it really has fun secrets to find, fun dialogue, fun just really interesting things. Like I remember
the story's great. The story's got a great
story's
story
awesome,
that you wouldn't expect.
You're right. I remember getting the speed boots and being like, I need to go talk to that old person at the lighthouse and hear everything they have to say, because you never can get through
without the
speed boots. So I
also
started over there.
The temple, right, with the octopus.
I did all that, but I just remember getting there and just listening, because the whole shtick is this old person speaks really slowly, so you're never able to see everything they have to say within 60 seconds. And I remember just running over there and be like, come on.
Good. Yeah,
it's so good.
But it's so cool. You keep all your items. So, if you have to get...
It does a great job of giving you actual meaningful progression throughout your deaths. But
I love it. Honestly, that might be...
Minute's a great game.
That might be up there with Celeste. I just love Minute very, very much.
It is really, really good.
You know? And again, what I love, obviously, God of War, there was hype built up around it. But, sometimes the most rewarding experiences are, the little smaller games that, you don't hear much about. And you're like, oh, all right, I'll give it a try, and then you just get floored by it.
Right.
And I just think that's such a cool thing. And then you can tell people hey, you should check out this game. What are you talking about? And then they love it too. I think I turned 3 people onto that game.
It is really cool to have something totally out of the blue like that.
Yeah, just surprise you.
Next we have a duo of me only games so far. Frostpunk and BattleTech. So Frostpunk, I still need to put more time into Frostpunk. I haven't gotten back to it. I played about 4 hours, 5 hours. Really, really like this game. It's a really fucking good game that I just can't find the time to get back to because I'm playing so many other things. So want to get back to Frostpunk. I'm not going to talk too much about it. It's a city building type game. It's more of a management of a town type of game. But it's that, 3/4 view, zoomed out, Civ perspective style game. But you're in this frozen apocalypse where, you're all huddled around this giant generator just for heat to stay alive and stuff. So really, really love that game. It's bleak as hell. It's really rough, tough decisions to make. But, I want to get back to that game. I suspect that it's going to be up there for me once I get back to it.
BattleTech same?
And then BattleTech, not same, because I paid 50 hours of it. And I adore this game so much. It just does so much right in the tactics genre. It's more of an XCOM style of game, but with a lot more depth. I know I've talked a lot about this game as well. I'm not going to go too much on it. But being able to customize your mechs in a way that you can totally change what style they want. If you want all right, I'm going to build this mech to have all long-range missiles, and they're just going to sit in the back, let everyone else scout them out, and then launch missiles. Like, to be able to do that, and then also, all right, this guy's a close-range brawler, I'm going to put an AC-20 on it, you know, big brawler, can punch well, like, you know, doing that sort of stuff, and then also just salvaging mechs, like, it's so rewarding to try to take down a mech without coring it, like killing the center torso, so that you can get more parts to build, like, because you literally take the salvage and build your own mech out of it, so it's like, it almost has like a collect them all kind of thing, but absolutely love that game.
Out of Frostpunk, Battletech, and Into the Breach, which one's one you recommend most?
Well, I think the three of them are very, very different, but I know why you're saying that, because those are the three Dan-only games, but Into the Breach is the best game of the bunch, no doubt about it. I have a lot of fondness for Battletech, and Frostpunk I haven't put enough time in.
Gotcha.
So, you know, I think it's interesting that we have Into the Breach and Battletech, which are both mech games, which are both tactics games, but they're very, very different from each other,
cool.
and I adore them both so
That's
much.
awesome, man.
Next, we have Bloodstained Curse of the Moon.
Yes.
Really cool little game. Basically a Castlevania,
And
basically an
an
NES Castlevania game, and it was just fantastic.
Yeah, it's so good.
Just such a
Did you beat it finally?
Yeah. Just a really great game. Yeah.
I have nothing else to say.
There's not much to
I
say.
mean, I could go on and on.
Do you like
about how much I love
Castlevania? Do you like Castlevania? Play this game. That's it.
No, but like you have to.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah. If you're a fan of the original 4 games, I'd say
it's
like
a great game.
And that's what it is. It's a new Castlevania game.
It's cool. It's short. But it was great.
It's great though. I loved it. You know.
I loved it too. It was excellent. Yoku's Island Express, I talked about a little earlier.
Big fan.
Yeah, this game's not going anywhere. That game's hanging on the top 10 because this is a really, really special game.
That's awesome.
I don't know. Yeah, I definitely need you to play that at some point.
All right.
I'll give you my Switch if you want.
Well, I have a Switch.
No, I know, but I don't want you to have to buy it. I'd like you to try it first.
All right, sounds good.
Then we have your favorite game and mine, Vampire.
Have you played more Vampire?
Yes.
A Vampire?
Yes. Yeah, however we were going to call it. Yes. Absolutely love it. I'm not going to talk too much about it. We've talked quite a bit over the course of many episodes. But Vampire, for me, its ambition outweighs its issues.
Cool.
And I really, really enjoy it. And then lastly on this list, we have The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which Dan just recently played. I have to play as well. We'll see. Again, looking at this list, we'll see if some of these small games stay on or not.
What are some of the games on here that you think by the end of the year still be on there?
Still be on?
Yeah.
Celeste.
Into
the Breach. Ni no Kuni, maybe. God of War. Minute. Battletech. Yoku's. That's pretty good.
You think Vampire's going to stay, or do you think Vampire's going to go?
Again, if I'm the only one that likes it, then maybe not. But I really...
It's not that I don't like
I would
Vampire.
like it to stay, but it depends. There are a lot of great games on here. Like we're talking about Minute, Frostpunk, Battletech, Celeste, Ni no Kuni 2, Yoku's Island Express. Like what's going to get out of the way for Vampire, you know? Because we have Octopath coming up.
Yeah,
we got the big games of the fall.
Spider-Man, Red Dead,
and there will be more. Game called Dead Cells is a game that you are going to fall in love with.
Yeah?
It has been in early access for a long time. I played it a little bit, but I knew I liked it, so I was like, I'm going to wait because I know it's due out this year. It comes out the 21st of July, I believe.
Ooh, this month.
On consoles.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, no, it might be August.
Dead
7th.
Cells.
I got to look. But it's called Dead Cells. Keep your eye on it because you're going to want to play that. It looks like a really good Castlevania, Metroidvania, but like a really big and really good version of it.
Ooh.
So, yeah. Also, yeah. That game, I have a really good feeling about. We and some games will come out and surprise us. I'm really excited for Donut County. That's due out soon. Looks good.
Yeah.
We have a lot of stuff on the horizon, but the fact that we have such a good list already is pretty promising, I think.
All right. We'll have to see back in December if we're still friends.
Back in December.
We're still...
Play Hollow Knight, please. Please play Hollow Knight. Please. It's fucking amazing. I really want you to play Hollow Knight.
So Hollow Knight, Into the Breach, Yoku's,
Yoku's?
Yoko Ono.
Yoku's Island Express.
Yoku's Island Express.
What I would say is, by the end of the year, I would like you to play Into the Breach and Yoku's Island Express.
All this homework, man.
I have 2 games for homework for you. I don't expect you to play Frostpunk. I don't expect you to play Battletech. But if you could play Into the Breach and Yoku's Island Express, that'd be excellent.
Yeah.
What I would say, to be honest with you, is play Hollow Knight as soon as you can, because it's that good.
What I have to do is I have to take like a week off from work just to play. Like,
I don't know. That's a good life decision, personally. But anyway, that's going to do it for the episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, you can catch us, every Monday. 9
Au
a.m.
revoir.
French Dan is here to stay. Is that a cigarette? What's up, guys? It's Dan from Circle Back. I'm just here to let you know you can find everything that we do at circlebackgaming.com. If you just want the podcast, we're on iTunes. If you just want the video, we're on YouTube. So catch us either place. Thanks.
Perfect.